Hello, everyone. My name is Will Williamson. Today I'm with Kyle Snipes. So, Kyle is the Director of Business Development for Harper General Contractors out of Greenville, South Carolina. So, Kyle, thank you very much for speaking with me. And would you like to just introduce yourself to everyone?
Yeah, no problem. So, like Will said, I'm Kyle Snipes, Director of Business Development at Harper. Handle our marketing department as well. Um, Harper, just for reference sake, guys, is a 70-year-old commercial general contractor that we have offices in 6 cities: Charlotte, Asheville, Spartanburg, Greenville, Conway. I'll tell you about 5 cities right now. We're looking at a sixth actually in Virginia, so I should probably hold on that. But yeah, our primary focus actually been building on PC's campus. Neville Hall is one of our projects. Does work on Georgia dorms, and we do a number of higher ed projects. So that's us.
Awesome. You love to see that. We always joke. My class, I'll brag, was the first class that had Neville all 4 years. So we'll just brag about that a little bit, but it's great. I see the signs everywhere. So,
Nice.
more specifically, what do you guys do on a daily basis, and
Mhm.
also what's your typical day like at Harper?
Yeah. So as far as for me, and I guess diving in big from macro level into what I'm doing. So Harper, as a construction company, we typically we work on projects that average probably about $7 million. Is our sweet spot. We do small things for clients like PC that we care a lot about and want to spend considerable time on your campus. But at the same time too, we do 40, 50, and $60 million projects on a regular basis as well. Our primary focus is education is a big piece for us, but then also to commercial office buildings, industrial distribution centers, kind of thing, Amazon as an example. And then we do a lot of, it's not the most attractive thing in the world, but we do a lot of wastewater and water treatment infrastructure work, and that's been a big deal for us. So my job is in essence to identify clients and potential clients that could benefit from the services that Harper provides. And then it's my job also if you think of me kind of as a point guard, I have a number of resources that support me so that I can go talk to the facilities director at PC or the finance director at PC and help them to understand different opportunities for how we can help them deliver their next big capital construction project.
That's awesome. So, going off that, what inspired you to get into the business? Did you always want to do like this? Because kind of talk a little bit about your past and maybe college, what led you to where you are today?
Yeah, so wild enough, if you would have said, hey, Kyle, you're going to work for a mid-sized regional general contractor when you grow up, I would have said that sounds crazy. But when I was, guys, please don't judge me for this, but I'm a Furman grad. But when I was at Furman, one of the things I really enjoyed was communications and business. So while I was there, really majored in communications with kind of a minor in psychology and sociology, just because I love people. So that naturally led into when I got out of school, just a sales position, an outside sales position that eventually led me into the medical community to begin doing, pharmaceuticals and medical device. Over time, what I loved about that was, again, at the end of the day, it's people, it's interacting with folks and trying to provide them with a solution to their problem, Over time, that's led me to go back to South Carolina to get my MBA, although I am a Clemson fan. The MBA kind of opened my eyes to additional bigger picture things that I felt like I could offer some solutions to. And the opportunity with Harper specifically came available from really relationships. There was a friend of mine that I knew Harper was a great construction company. This is while I was doing medical device and doing the hospital thing, selling to surgeons and supporting them. And I was doing a lot of traveling. And guys, as you get older, as you know, family starts to happen, and traveling, you got to make decisions on what you want to do. So opportunity with Harper became available. My MBA allowed me to put together a pretty good business plan for them, and a couple interviews, and next thing you know, I made the switch and have been happy ever since.
That's awesome. Great to hear. I'm the exact same way. Love talking to people, love making relationships. I think that's a great thing that you've done with that. So
Thank you.
we got to ask. So COVID-19,
Yeah.
great year we have had with that. So how's that impacted you guys as a whole,
Yeah.
positive or negative? Just how has that impacted you guys to the day?
Yeah. So, one, I guess, depending on how you look at it, one fortunate thing about our business is that commercial construction is considered a vital service. So, the government decided that was something that we needed to figure out a way to work around COVID and keep people safe, but at the same time continue to deliver projects because, as y'all know, construction is a critical part of the infrastructure of the economy. So for us, it ended up leading to different protocols, as y'all know, as you're dealing with right now at PC. But from a business standpoint, complete transparency, guys, we had a little downturn in March and April. Things started to pick back up in May, and since May, it's continued to hold steady and climb. We attribute a lot of that to, again, we're very blessed to have great reputation, which we can talk about more in a little bit, and the importance of how that pertains to whatever you guys want to do in the future. But that reputation, and then just the being in a growth market, in a growth industry in this region, has really helped us continue to, move quickly. We actually had our largest year in the 70-year history of our company last year.
Wow.
During COVID.
Well, that says something a lot about that. That's awesome to hear. That's good.
Yeah, man.
Good for you guys. So a couple more questions. So in your personal opinion, what do you think it takes to succeed in a business, kind of like you're in, whether it was relationships, maybe work ethic? What do you think attributes to that?
Yeah, that's, I think, a great question. And there's a few different ways that you can go with it, but I think there's certain foundational truths that I think a lot of people just miss altogether. They don't understand, and I don't want to get on a soapbox, guys, but at the same time too, y'all probably already run across this in your own time as juniors and seniors in college. But at the end of the day, hard work, being organized, being a self-starter is a big deal. And I'm sure a lot of you guys have that already, sort of built in intrinsically, or you've learned it over time because you're about to graduate from college, and that's a big deal. Something that's not as intuitive, though, when it comes to being successful, is being trustworthy and just flat telling the truth. When it comes to, I think, business development, but then also to just being whether it's a CEO, CFO, whatever it might be, I think people have a tendency to not shoot things straight or have a personal agenda. I think probably the best way to say it is if in order to be successful and really be successful and differentiate yourself from everybody else who's making noise in the market, being thinking about the person on the other side of the table and taking care of them more than you try to take care of yourself, naturally leads to a reciprocal component that will help you to be successful. I know we don't have a lot of time to unpack that, but there's a great book that helps. It's kind of cheesy, so I apologize in advance about it. But if you really want to know when it comes especially to business development about how you should do it, there's a book called Go Giver that I would encourage everybody to check out.
Awesome.
And at the end of the day, it's not thinking about yourself. It's thinking about how can you leverage what you have to help other people.
That's awesome. That's great stuff. I think it's important with that. I think it also works in all sectors of business, whether in the medical field like you were in prior. I think that's someone everyone just should appreciate. I think it speaks true to that. So like I said, a couple more. So, what would you say
Sure.
is your favorite part of working at Harper over the past 15 years or so, I believe? What do you think has become your favorite part of this job?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely in the business development world, there's a few perks that come along with it. The relationships I built have been fantastic. Naturally, being able to, in the industry that we're in, uh, if we do get some opportunities to go play some golf with some clients,
There you
get
go.
to know them. Which, in all honesty, I know that sounds crazy. A lot of people would roll their eyes on the idea of, hey, you got a tough job, you go play golf with people. Um, but you can learn a lot about people by just spending quality time with them, and whether that's good and you want to continue to do business with that person or not. Um, my dad used to say, and I think this is pretty good, but you time, an extended amount of time specifically, can reveal a lot about a person, including whether they're crazy or not. So that's been a good thing. But I think probably the other biggest part, besides we work some long hours. I mean, 40, 50, 60 hours a week sometimes. On my side, it's more, the golf is more, or the entertaining is more in between. It's putting together proposals. It's evaluating costs associated with a potential building. It's trying to figure out how to make deals work, so that a new building can be built. And during those hours, the relationships that you build with the team that you're with, especially if everybody's kind of like-minded and selfless, I mean, that's without a doubt, that's the best part.
Awesome. Okay. It's great. It's great to hear about that. I know, gotta enjoy the golf sometimes, but getting out
Yeah.
of the nitty gritty stuff like that, I mean, it's just great. So, lastly, what advice would you have for a college student like me or anyone that's interested in the business at all, whether they're graduated or anything? What would you say is the best advice you can give?
Yeah. And talking about speaking to business development specifically, or
Yeah, your business
construction.
development, right,
Okay.
right in the
Yeah.
wheelhouse.
Yeah. So I think business development, kind of the marketing piece. Um, Again, I think one of the biggest pieces of advice that I would strongly encourage everybody to embrace is, man, there's so much just noise out there about how to manipulate people, how to get what's best for you, um, especially when it comes to the sales game. And
Yeah.
side note, if you guys get into business development straight out of college, there's a good chance you may be around people who, um, I mean, are as selfish as they come, and they will try to teach you things on how to manipulate clients in order to make money and deliver a product, whatever that might be, um, in a selfish manner. At the end of the day, it's short sighted and it'll get you honestly nowhere. So I would say, again, just keeping that, be selfless, thinking of your client, thinking of others first, and how you can support them will always make you successful. And I think secondarily, if you do want to get into business development, find a great product to represent or great people behind the service to represent. At the end of the day, if your product or the people that you represent, if you don't respect them, and it's bad, it's something that you can't deliver well on, they can't deliver on the promise that you're making on their behalf, that's a tough place to be, guys. And I've been there, I promise you. And it is not something that you want to do. But if you can take the time to find a company that you believe in and that you're passionate about, and you think that they really provide a service to
Right.
folks that will can make a difference in solving whatever problem that client may have, that's a good place to be.
Awesome.
So
Well, Kyle, that's all the time we have. But again, thank you very much for speaking with me. I really appreciate it. And best of luck to you guys in the future. Again, I appreciate it very much.
yeah, no problem. Hey, thanks for the time.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah, buddy.